Travel Talk, where our expert magical memory planners discuss ways you can have fun, memorable, and stress-free family vacations. Hi everyone, welcome to this episode of Travel Talk. I am so excited to share with you today and talk about a ship that I just visited in New Jersey from Royal Caribbean called Anthem of the Seas. And this was a really great ship tour, and I learned so much about this ship that I would just want to talk about it today and see if this might be a good option for you for a vacation. So the Anthem of the Seas, just a few stats to kind of get you started, get an idea of what the ship is like. It was built in 2015. So it's actually like a relatively newish ship. It has 168,000 gross tons, just over that. So that's a pretty decent sized ship. If you're familiar with some other ships, you'll know that Oasis class ships like Oasis of the Seas are over 200,000 gross tons. And then like the largest Disney ship, the Fantasy, is like 120,000 gross tons. So it's kind of like in the middle in size between those two ships. It holds about 4,900 passengers if it was totally full. If all the rooms had double occupancy, it would be about 4,100. So that's about the same amount of passengers that the Disney Fantasy holds, but it definitely is a bigger ship. So that makes it a little bit more spacious. So just to kind of give you an idea, and it's quantum class. So there are several other ships that I'll mention at the end that are also quantum class that would be similar to the Anthem of the Seas. So this ship, I'm going to just talk through the staterooms, the dining, and some of the entertainment options on board so that you can get to know the ship a little bit better. So as far as staterooms, there was three main things I wanted to point out. So just like most ships, they have inside, ocean view, and balcony staterooms. They have suites and concierge and all that. One of the things they have on this ship is in their suite section. We visited the Royal Loft Suites and the Owner's Loft Suites. And both of these suites are two-story suites. So you have a bedroom on the second floor in the loft that overlooks the ocean. So these staterooms are on the aft of the ship. So you have a huge window that just looks out the back of the ship that is just totally gorgeous. These staterooms do sleep four, but they are extremely spacious. They have large tables, so you could have in-room dining if you wanted. They have large balconies on the back of the ship as well. And one of the coolest things about these suites is that they include a royal genie. And so a royal genie is like your concierge, your butler, your main person. Make sure that everything on the ship is VIP. So whether you want a meal catered in your stateroom, whether you want to sit front row at one of the shows on board, all those things can be arranged by your genie. And even at check-in, they'll bring you right into from the terminal right into your stateroom and get you settled and make sure you have everything. And maybe there'll be a few snacks on the table for you as well. So that genie service is just the top-notch, most amazing service on Royal Caribbean and is available in these loft suites. They also have wow bands, which will take you instead of carrying your key to the world card around or your shipboard card around the ship, you can use your band and tap into your room and tap to pay for drinks and things like that. You still need your main sailing card to get on and off the ship, but the wow bands do make things pretty easy on board too. So really, really amazing suites, just breathtaking in both the suite itself and then the views. I was like looking from the bed out and I was like, oh my gosh, to wake up to that every day would be paradise. Absolutely gorgeous. The second type of staterooms I want to talk about that were unique and new when this ship first came out is they have virtual balconies. So these are staterooms that are inside staterooms, but the entire wall from the floor to the ceiling is a huge screen and will view whatever's outside. There's even a curtain to cover it, right? So if you want to open your curtain and look out your balcony, you can do that, or you can close your curtain. But this virtual balcony shows whatever's outside the ship. So it's kind of a live feed. So if it's raining, if it's sunny, if it's getting dark, if you're sailing out of New Jersey and you're in your stateroom and you're looking out your virtual balcony, you'll see the Statue of Liberty as you pass by on your way out of port. So it is really kind of that live feed, and it's a great option for people that maybe have either availability issues or are looking at cutting costs. And so maybe you want to save a little bit by doing an inside but you also want to still have like sunlight in the morning or have a look and see what's happening outside as far as the weather is concerned, or when you get into port and seeing coming into port or out of port or a sunset or a sunrise or any of those things. So that is a really, really neat option, are these virtual balconies. And then the third type of stateroom I wanted to talk about that they have on the Anthem of the Seas is the studios. So a studio is a cabin for one person. And if you're familiar with cruising, you'll know that if you have one guest in a cabin, any other cabin, you pay what's called a single supplement, where basically you pay for that second person that isn't even there. So you pay double a lot. A lot of times you'll have to pay double if you're a single in a cabin for two. But in a studio, there is not that single supplement. So it is a cabin built for one. They are very cozy. There's a bed, there's a bathroom, a little closet, a TV. They're very cozy, but if you are one person and that's all you need, that can be a great option for you. There are studios that connect to other studios. So maybe you're traveling with a friend and you want to hang out together, but you don't really want to have the same room. So you want to have a little bit of privacy. So that's a great option. You could do connecting studios. There are also studios that are connected to like a junior suite. So that way, if you have a family of 5 that wants to be in the room and you have a 5th person that maybe wants a little bit more space, a teenager, maybe it's a parent or a mother-in-law or, a single that's joining your family and they kind of want to be nearby, but they don't really want to be in your room, that connecting single studio could be a great option as well. So there's a lot of ways that these studios will work. There's basically 2 main categories of studios, aside from the fact that there are some accessible ones as well. There is an inside studio, so that one would not have a view to the outside. But there's actually studios with balconies. So you can have a single room with a balcony just for one. So those are great options if you're looking to either travel alone or maybe you're traveling with a group, but you want your own room. So the studios are a great option on Anthem of the Seas. Okay, we got staterooms under our belt. The next thing is dining. Dining is the absolute best part of a cruise, according to me. So you might be in my boat where cruising is all about dining. The funny thing is when we were taking our ship tour, I wasn't hungry. I ate right before I got there, but I get on the ship and literally like as soon as I walked on the ship, my stomach was like, oh, it must be time to eat. And it's like, I'm not even hungry, but my body just knows, hey, it's a cruise. It's time to eat. So dining is a huge part of cruising. And one of the things I love about cruising is so much dining is included. So as a mom of a couple of teenagers, particularly teenage boys, the amount of food that they can consume over the course of a day is a lot. And so going on a vacation that includes all our food and food basically all day long is a huge asset to us. And so if you're in that boat with me, then you will definitely want to be talking about dining as well. So first, if we think about what's included, okay, there's lots of included dining, complimentary dining on Royal Caribbean. So you have your main dining rooms, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And this is typical of all their ships. So if you want to do a sit down breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you can head up to the main dining rooms. They all have a Windjammer cafe. That is your large buffet area. That is open throughout the day at different times, but throughout the day for you. They have a whole separate island just for gluten-free food. So even though it might be food that's available elsewhere, in the gluten-free section, you know that there's not going to be any issues with cross-contamination or anything like that because it's a whole gluten-free section. So that's awesome too. They also have their Sorrento's Pizza, which is on a lot of ships as well. My kids are often in there well after dinner. I'm like, we just ate. How are you going to get pizza? But there they are. So Sorrento's Pizza is there. The Cafe Promenade, which is typical on a lot of these ships as well. Coffee, little snack sandwiches and sweets and things like that. So you can head through there. This ship also has another venue called Cafe 220. So I'm going to talk more about 270. Cafe 270, I'm going to talk about a little bit more when we talk about entertainment, but there is a cafe there, so that's open most of the day as well. Again, more complimentary options, salads, sandwiches, light fare, things like that. And then if you go back into the solarium, behind the solarium, there's an adult only area. There's another little buffet area in there as well with more snack sandwiches and food and things. So definitely plenty of places to go and get food. Of course, you have the option of room service as well. And you should never be hungry on a cruise. But in addition to all that complimentary, There are also specialty dining locations. And I love these. I love dining in the main dining room. So often I'll do a specialty dining at lunchtime so that I don't miss my dining at dinner. But some people like to eat there every night. So there's a lot of specialty dining options on the Anthem of the Seas. And I'm just going to highlight some of them. So the first one is Coastal Kitchen. Coastal Kitchen is for our suite guests. So if you are staying in one of those suites, you would have access to Coastal Kitchen for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and it's a table service location. The next one is Chops Grill. They're on a lot of Royal Caribbean ships. They have amazing steaks and meats and grilled items and things like that. So Chops Grill is a great option. Jamie's Italian. I don't usually eat Italian out because I am Italian. I like to cook Italian, so I don't usually eat Italian out. But we went to Jamie's Italian, and oh my gosh, the food was amazing. There was so many good things there. So highly recommended Jamie's Italian. They have a Nizumi. That's a really cool one too. My kids and my husband did a sushi class there that may be available during your sailing during the day, but that is a Japanese and sushi type location. So that's a really fun and different place to go to. And then one of the things they have on this ship is a place called Wonderland. And Wonderland is, you know, when you think about Alice in Wonderland, it's just kind of that topsy-turvy, really interesting and whimsical restaurant. So the chairs in there are big, and the menu is has to be activated with a paintbrush and water. So you like paint your menu to like see your food choices, and just the whole experience is really whimsical and interesting. So if you're really looking for something different and a different experience, you'd want to make a reservation at Wonderland. And then there's also lots of great bars and places on the ship. So there's some of those traditional ones, I mean, up by the pool, and a Schooner's bar and piano bars and all that kind of stuff. But some of the ones that you might want to check out on this ship are the English pub. So that's a favorite of ours. They often have live music in there, something simple like one person playing a guitar or singing or something like that, just like light, casual music. And they have a really big beer list that they don't necessarily have everywhere on the ship in the English pub. So that can be a really great place to hang out and to get a drink. There's also Boleros. This is kind of a Latin vibe. So if you're looking for a little music and a little dancing, it's a smaller venue than the entertainment place I'm going to tell you about in a minute. But it can be a fun place for music and for a Latin vibe and drinks and stuff there. And then one of the coolest things they have on the ship is the Bionic Bar. So the Bionic Bar doesn't actually have a human bartender, but it has these two bionic arms. And when you order your drink, the arms like grab all the different mixers and stuff and the glass and prepare your drink and then push it out to you. So the Bionic Bar is really interesting, whether it's just a place you want to watch or if you want to order something. They have all kinds of cocktails and stuff there. So that is a really neat thing there on the Anthem of the Seas, the Bionic Bar. Okay, so that's going to segue us into the entertainment section because Bionic Bar is both food and beverage and entertainment. So that's going to take us right over to entertainment. So for entertainment, the first thing I have to mention is the Broadway show. So on all Royal Caribbean ships, you'll find a Broadway show that they have. We have seen some of these, they've been fantastic. And they sometimes, depending on the length of the cruise, will maybe do an evening performance. Sometimes they'll do a daytime performance, which is great for families. Sometimes they'll just have multiple performances so you can see it multiple times. But the show on this ship is We Will Rock You. So that sounds awesome and really fun if you've ever seen that on land. And that's the show there. And then some other venues and entertainment options. If you love to dance, the place I was just referencing is the music hall. So the music hall is like a 2-level dance hall kind of atmosphere. I loved like the seating in there. It just looked like something straight out of Nashville in my mind. There's a stage, there's like a dance floor area, and then there's seating all around that, and then a second floor that has seating all around that looks down into that dance area. So they'll do all kinds of things in there. They'll have cover bands playing like the Beatles or like other groups. They'll have dancing. I mean, it looks like the perfect place for line dancing. So I would assume they would have some of that, maybe some dance classes, but the music hall just looks like a really, really cool place to hang out. There's tables on the top. So if you were playing games or wanted to hang out in there for that, there's a bar in there as well. So huge entertainment venue, super fun in the music hall. And then the other venue I want to talk about, which I mentioned before, we're talking about food. was 270. So 270 is on the aft of the ship. It is named 270 because you have a 270-degree view of the ocean, because it's like the back of the ship, but further than 180. It kind of wraps around. And during the day, it's all windows. So during the day, you can see out beautiful things, see the ocean, see the sunrise, the sunset. Maybe you're in port and you see some beautiful things there. And it has like multiple tiers from the ground, which has like a dance floor area. And then it has like tiers that come up. And like I said before, when we're talking about food, there's a little cafe out there, breakfast and lunchtime too, at the Cafe 270. But this is a space that completely transforms at night. So typically at night, you wouldn't really be able to see out those windows. And so what they do is they change them over to like screens. And now this becomes an entertainment venue. So there can be all different things in there. There could be a show that's performing, like with trapeze or some kind of interesting, like people hanging from the ceiling and doing some kind of like acrobatics. There could be a dance party of some sort. I think they have a red night in there. Just all different things happen in this venue at night. It becomes a totally different place than it is during the day. And so they can make it look like different places because of the screens that they have in there. So definitely a cool place to check out at night, and make sure you go there both at the day and the night, because it is really almost two different venues. They'll also do silent disco in there. And I don't know if you've ever seen silent disco. I've never done it, but I've watched it, and it's really entertaining to watch because everybody has headsets with different music playing. And the music is intentionally very, very different, like different speed or different beat, so that the people dancing, what you hear in your head is what you're dancing to, your rhythm, what you're moving to, but people next to you are dancing to totally different music that has a different rhythm. So there's just like a lot of different things going on, and everybody's music is in their head. So if you're watching this, people tend to sing along when they hear music in their head, or they're talking to each other over the music that they're hearing through their headphones. And so it is really entertaining to watch silent disco. I'm sure it's really fun to do as well, but it's really fun to watch because people are talking to each other and dancing to different things and singing, and they don't even hear themselves. So super entertaining. So anyway, so that venue 270 is a super fun place at night as well. So there's just like a lot of activity on board as far as that entertainment is concerned. But as far as, you know, some of the other activities, which, you know, to me, Royal Caribbean is always just such an active ship, always so much to do. So you have your pools, you have your rock wall, you have your flow riders. They have Ripcord by iFly. That's where you do like skydiving. So there's like a fan type of thing, if you've ever seen Ripcord before, and you kind of lean over it and it pushes up on you, and so it gives you the sensation of skydiving. So they have a Ripcord by iFly. And then they have this really cool area called Seaplex. And I love Seaplex because it is an indoor space aft on the ship, and it is a really good sized space. And so it's a very multi-purpose space. So there's 2 levels on the ground level, and then there's like kind of a balcony area around the top. And when you're in Seaplex, it's right next to the arcade, and it's just a huge gaming area. So they have an Xbox area, they have ping pong tables and other table games, they have basketball hoops, they have cornhole set up, they could have soccer nets. I mean, it's always changing in there, and it could be all those activities. And it's great because it's indoors. And so they also have bumper cars. So they can like have a bumper car session where they clear out the floor area in there, and then they'll pull out the bumper cars, and it's included. And it is, you know, first come, first serve. You just come over to play. And it is a huge area. I mean, you think you're on a cruise ship and you're thinking, oh, they have bumper cars. It's going to be like 6 cars bumping around like in a very small space. But when you go into Seaplex and you see how big it is, there are a number of cars, and it is literally about the same amount of space as you would see at like a theme park, like a Hershey Park or something, the amount of space they have for their bumper cars once you take all the other things out and they use the full space for bumper cars. So really, really great space. And even on the main pool area, they have a retractable roof, and then you have the adult only solarium area that also has a roof. So this is a great ship. It sails out of New Jersey a lot. It might move to other places in Europe and things like that, but it's a really great ship because you have those indoor spaces. So if it's chilly, you can still swim. And if it's rainy or the weather's not great, you can still like go into the Seaplex and play games and do different active things. Because in a lot of ships, you have those basketball courts and stuff aft on an upper deck, and they're outside. And so even though, you know, you're out at sea or whatever, it might be windy out there and it's hard to like play some of those games. So the Seaplex is fantastic. Just a great place for everybody to kind of hang out and play. So in general, and the ships on Royal Caribbean are always moving around, but for the next through 2024, end of 2024, the Anthem of the Seas will be leaving out of New Jersey for the winter months. And then from late spring, summer, and early fall, it'll be over in Europe, leaving out of London. I'm not out of London, out of Southampton, England, and doing itineraries in Europe. And so this ship moves around back and forth. But I just wanted to give you an idea of what's included, what's on an, you know, Quantum class ship, because this is a newer class that is, you know, came in after Oasis class. And so people might not know what's on an Anthem class ship or Quantum class ship. So some of the other sister ships that are also Quantum class, so they would be similar in size and have similar activities. They won't all be exactly the same, but if you see that Anthem is not available, but you're looking for something else similar, the other Quantum class ships are Quantum of the Seas, Ovation of the Seas, Odyssey of the Seas, and Spectrum of the Seas. So those are other options that would be similar in size and quantity of passengers and have similar amenities on board. So I hope you're thinking maybe Anthem of the Seas might be a good option for you. And if you are, we would love to help you with that. So thanks for tuning into Travel Talk, and we'll bring you more things to talk about next time.